Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Stacey West Preview Show. I am Jake, as always, and this week we're looking to preview the game as we host Charlton Athletic at Sincil Bank. Just quickly touching on the Bolton game then, a disappointing result, just two individual errors that cost us the game up at the Uni Bowl. Thought we played really well in parts. Between the boxes, we were able to contain Bolton for most of the game. Obviously, Jack Diamond had that opportunity in the first half, which he probably should have done better with. But apart from that, can't really complain about the result. Moving on to Charlton then, another game that's going to be really difficult. So earlier on this week, I sat down with Tyler Rowlinson, who is a massive Charlton fan, also a content creator. Here's what he had to say about the game. Right, we're joined by Tyler. Tyler is a Charlton supporter / Charlton content creator. Tyler, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me back.
No, absolutely, mate. You went down really well last year. So let's talk addicts then. It was like the club sort of hit the reset button again this season, wasn't it? With Ben Garner coming in, all the changes that you've made. How do you assess Ben Garner's first 10, 11 games in charge of Charlton? Is it a significant improvement on what you had before?
It's an improvement. Let's put it that way. I mean, this time last season we was in the bottom four, so I think we've got to consider that as an improvement. But I mean, you said it there. We hit the reset button again. You know, new manager, new system, new style of play, new philosophy, which was exciting going into the season. You know, attacking, high press. We're thinking, oh, we could be on some decent football, and it's been a frustrating start. I think it's probably safe to say. I mean, it started with a lot of promise, really. You know, we got a couple of good results. We beat Derby, very unfortunate on the opening day against Accrington. We scored last minute, and then they go right down the other end and they draw back level straight away. That was a pain. And then obviously we smashed Plymouth 5-1, which was an unbelievable result and performance. And then since that game, really, football's a very funny game. Plymouth have not lost in all competitions since that day, and we're winless in 7. We haven't won since that game now. So, yeah, but I think I don't really blame Garner for the start, really. I think it boils down to the transfer window, really. I don't think we recruited that well or as well as we should have done. We're now left with a squad that's weak in areas, and we've got a side now that can't score and can't defend for anything. But yeah, I think if you were to look at it from last season's perspective, we're probably seeing more of the same again, really. It's frustrating football, but I don't really blame Garner because I don't think he was backed correctly, and he is a young and up-and-coming manager. I'm hopeful we can push us up the table a bit more, but yeah, I think it's safe to say it's been a frustrating start for us again.
Two players that I do want to focus on that you brought in over the summer window, two ex-Lincoln City players. The first one, probably one that excited you, Jack Payne, obviously followed Ben Garner in from Swindon Town. He had a pretty indifferent period as a Lincoln City player. I think he was here for about a year or so. What's he sort of been like? Because he obviously had quite a decent year down in League Two with Swindon, but has he been able to step up into League One this year?
He's been good. He's put in some good performances. I think he's been used as like an impact player for the first opening games, which I think was to be expected with the other players that we've got. Obviously, Scott Fraser, Jules Dobson, and then Albert Morgan, who's obviously product of our academy. And we're trying to get him some minutes. But Payne was really knocking on the door for the first few minutes. I think every single game he come on off the bench, he's made an impact. You know, he's a little whippet. He's got a bit of pace. He likes to get forward. He likes to attack. And he got his first goal for the club against Barnsley, finally breaking his duck, and he's got a lot of assists already as well in other competitions. And yeah, he's been fairly impactful. I've been impressed with him so far. I think deservedly so. He's broken into the first team. He didn't have the best of games last time out against Oxford. He was subbed off at half time. Didn't really have much of an effect on the game, but yeah, I think overall Payne's been a pretty solid addition. Obviously, as you say, he's had a good time at Swindon. He obviously knows the manager from Swindon, and if you look at his record, he's got a really good record, not just at this level, but also in the Championship and in League Two as well. So he's been about the place, he's been about the block, and he's come here. And so far, I think he's been a useful addition to the squad, and hopefully that will continue.
And then the obvious one, then swapping Lincoln for Charlton, Charlton of the Scottish Premier League. That so he sent to. We thought when he departed the football club. Conor McGrandles, obviously, I think if he's going to be in the squad at all on Saturday, then I think he might be in for a bit of a rough afternoon for the reception. But talk to us about McCandless, because from what you told me off air, he's not really had the rub of the green with injuries and starts. He is one of the players that I look out for in terms of as he got in, because he's tried to leave us for something better. But what are your early thoughts on Connor, if you've been able to see him at all?
Yeah, you said it there. He struggled with injuries, and to be honest, he's been the exact opposite of Jack Payne. Really, I think I was very surprised we got him. To be honest, it was very out of the blue because he was heavily, as you say, heavily linked with going back up to Scotland, and I think Bristol City were linked with him at some point. So when we signed him out of nowhere, there was no. I don't think there was any link that linked us towards him beforehand. It was literally just like that, done, and he was in, and I was like, "Hello, this is a really good." I thought it was a really good addition on paper because he was obviously very influential in your midfield, particularly in your player final campaign. Less the result, the better. But yeah, I think he has been very unlucky with injury. To be fair, he suffered, I think, concussion in the game after that, so he has really struggled. But I think in the games he has played, he hasn't struck me as the player that I thought we were going to sign. It's still, I mean, I say it's still relatively early days. We're 11 games into the season now, but it's unfortunate that he's not really broken into the team in the way that we'd have hoped. Players have just simply been better than him, and obviously he's been injury prone. He's often it appears on the bench. He doesn't really doesn't come off. I think he hasn't come off in a while. I wouldn't expect him to make an appearance against you guys. He may do. I don't think he'll start, but I think he may come off the bench at some point. But yeah, not the start that he was looking for, not the start we were hoping for. But hopefully, as time progresses, he can develop here and he can. I'm good, but yeah, not the best of start so far for him.
1-1 draw then on Saturday against Oxford. You guys are Charlton. Obviously, you came from behind in that. Oxford went 1-0 up, and then you come from behind. Oxford had a good opportunity to win it. I think Billy Bowden smashed one about 50 yards over the bar as well towards the end. What was your assessment on that game then? Was it a step in the right direction?
Far from it, to be honest. I think it's probably more of the same that we saw in the previous 6 games before that game. First half was a disgrace, to be honest. Garner experimented with a change of system. We went back to the back five that we played under Adkins and Jackson last season, and predictably, it didn't work. We just didn't look like we wanted the ball at all. We wouldn't show for each other. The players just didn't look asked, to be honest. You know, we had our attackers literally jogging towards players. Our striker Stockley was, I think, walking on occasion inside the centre circle. We just did not look bothered at all, and they scored a fairly easy goal. Just ran through our defence. There's debate as to whether the goalkeeper could have done better, but I'm not sure. I think the whole aspect of their goal going in was shocking from our perspective. Thankfully, he changed the system in the second half, reverted to a standard 4-4-2, which I think we hadn't tried before this season, but after the second half display against Oxford, I think it showed that maybe we should do that more often. We brought on Charlie Kirk and Miles Lieber, and they changed the game. Kirk is probably the only winger we've got that can actually cross the ball in the box. Stockley scored his first goal from open play, thank God. Hopefully more to come from there. But the second half was a massive improvement on the first half. As I say, first half was a disgrace and a spitting image of what we saw last season, really. And as you just said, both teams had an opportunity to win it late on. Bodin in past 2 of our defenders like they weren't even there and smashed a shot about 50 yards over the bar. Then we went down the other end. Jules Dobson put through 1-on-1 straight at the goalkeeper, and then they went down the other end again through Jones, I think it was. He tried to curl an effort towards the far corner, and our keeper pulled off a really good save. So draw was probably fair result, which is, like I say, a very similar story to all the games we've had so far. Really, we seem to play 45 minutes worth of football. We play really well one half, and then just shocking the next. We're just not consistent enough in that aspect. So we need to fix up, really, and hopefully we can start with a win on Saturday, because we are in desperate need of one. 7 games without a win is not acceptable for a club that's expected to be up there and challenging this season what was expected of us anyway. So yeah, that'd be another frustrating result, but hopefully we can turn it around.
Now, beating Lincoln City, as you alluded to there, is not something you managed last season. We took 6 points off you last season. The home game came, I think it was a 93rd minute winner by Regan Poole, and then the game down at the Valley, probably one of the high points of our season, actually. I think it was Anthony Scully scored a bit of a worldie, and then Morgan Whittaker also. But Whittaker got sent off, and Alex Gilby also got sent off. Was it Alex Gilby who was linked to us in the summer? What were your thoughts on both of those games? Then it's hard to say were you impressed with Lincoln because you'd be so frustrated at Charlton, but what were just your thoughts on both of those games last season?
They were both probably the same, to be honest. So they were both 2-1 losses, weren't they?
Yeah.
Both of them, I think. Yeah, I remember. I think obviously when we played you at your ground, it was prime Adkins period. Most of us wanted him out at that point. He should really have gone long before that game, to be honest. I don't have the best memories of it. I think I remember you scored in the first half, and then Sam Lavelle got one back, quite a scrappy corner, but managed to get it into the bottom corner. And I thought hopefully then it was going to kick on. But it was at that period where Adkins didn't even know what system worked and what his best 11 was. He was just throwing players in, like, yeah, well, go on, you can have a go. And we didn't know he was just that clueless at that point. And I think you remember saying the last time when I come on here, I think you said Regan Paul's goal was offside, from what I remember.
Yeah, he was.
Which is just bloody typical League One ref. But anyway, we didn't deserve to win that game that day anyway. And then at the Valley, more of the same, really. Alex Gilby getting sent off for stupid. Like, he's already on a yellow card and he just pulls one of your players back. It's just not good enough, really. And then I don't remember who scored. Whittaker got your first one, and then Anthony Scully got your second. Great goal from what I remember. Scully I think I spoke quite highly of him last time. He was outstanding for you last season in a very poor Lincoln side. I think you'd agree. And obviously he's no longer there, which I think is a bonus for us that we don't have that much. We don't have as much of a threat with him now going. But yeah, not great memories from you guys last season. So hopefully we can put that behind us and get a result. But I think in the past we've not done that well against you guys.
Yeah, you've not actually beat us at Central Bank since you've been down there in League One with us. So fingers crossed that can stay the same this weekend then. I just want to get your thoughts on Lincoln quickly, Tyler. Obviously, our manager is well known in your part of the world. He was a big part of Crystal Palace when he played for Crystal Palace. New into the job, not someone that's massively well known, but we're above you in the table. We're 13th and 14th respectively, so not masses of difference. However, if we do win our game in hand, we do go up to 9th. What have been your thoughts on Lincoln so far this season? Obviously, we've had a few wins against Bristol Rovers where we scored 6, beating Derby as well as you guys. So what are your thoughts on Lincoln so far?
I remember seeing those games. I checked the results before coming on here. I remember seeing the Bristol Rovers game. I couldn't believe the scoreline. It just seemed like you take both teams just going down the other end and scoring goals. It was ridiculous. But, I'll be honest. It wasn't. I weren't expecting it from you guys so far. I think you've done fairly well, all things considering. Obviously, Appleton going in the summer and losing key players as well, like Scully going, and obviously previous loan players you had as well. You know, Whittaker made an impact, and I think Marquis as well did fairly well in the time he was there. But yeah, new manager Mark Kennedy, isn't it?
Yeah,
he was. I remember he was Lee Bowes' assistant at Birmingham, so I didn't know what to expect with him coming into I think it's his first managerial job. I was expecting you guys to sort of peter out again, sort of just stay in the relegation battle. But to be fair, so far you've done, I think, fairly well. You've got yourselves up in the mid-table, as you say, game in hand. If you win that, it's against MK Dons. I think they've not had a good start at all. So yeah, it's been a fairly positive start. I think you'd agree with that. And obviously you're above us, and so we need to. Yeah, it's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game for sure. Both teams obviously are looking to get up there. We need to break our duck and end our rot. Seriously, it's 7 games without a win. And might be back under Jackson back in January, February time. But yeah, no, it's been a good start for you guys, and expecting a challenge. Let's put it that way.
And let's then get your score prediction then for Saturday afternoon. I know it's pretty early in the week to be going down that route, but what are your thoughts of going into Saturday?
I don't have much optimism. I'll give you that. Like I say, 7 games without a win. We haven't won away from home yet, which you'll be delighted to know. We just can't. We just can't get going away. I don't know what it is. We just cannot get going. Draw specialists at the moment. Like I say, can't score for anything. Can't hit a barn door most of the time. And defensively, we've been caught out so many times. It's hard to call. It's hard to call this one because in my head I'm saying another draw because that's all we can muster up at this point. Like I say, we play really well one half and really bad the next. They just can't find that consistency. We just need to just get going and play that high pressing football. We have got key players to keep an eye on. There are some players for you to look at. Dobson obviously was excellent last season. Raksaki shouldn't be playing in this league, to be honest. Alone in Palace, he's been outstanding so far. Charlie Kirk, if he plays, he's going to have an impact. Like I say, he's the only winger we've got that can cross the ball in the box. And obviously the Lincoln boys, Payne if he plays, and McGrandles if he gets an appearance. But I wouldn't say McGrandles is as much of a threat. He's not had a great start so far. Um, if I'm going to score a prediction off the top of my head right now, I'm saying another 1-1 draw. That's all we can muster up at this point. It's all I can really say. I don't know if you'll take that or not, but to be honest, with our record against you guys, I'll probably take any result we can get at this point. But yeah, we can't muster up anything at this point. We can't win away. We're just draw specialists. All I can say at the moment is a 1-1 draw. If we get a result and we get a win, then obviously happy days, because it's a must-win game for both sides, really. But it's more so for us. But yeah, all I can really say at this point, another 1-1 draw.
And plug your channel, Tyler, because you do some really good stuff over on your channel about Charlton. Tell the watchers about what they can expect from you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, it's Tyler Rowlinson, so it's just my name. I do regular content as I can about Charlton speak. I do match reactions from the games. Have gained a lot of traction recently due to our poor results. So if you want to listen to me scream and shout at the camera every week about how bad we are, then feel free to check it out. I do some League One content as well now and again. But yeah, it's going well for me so far. So yeah, check it out if you fancy it.
And fingers crossed you're raging again Saturday afternoon. Tyler, thank you so much for coming on again.
No problem, mate. Thanks for having me back on, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks to Tyler for coming on to the channel again. His insight is really good. A link to his channel will also be down in the description below this video. But that will bring another end to this episode of the Stacey West Preview Show. Please make sure that you like, comment and subscribe. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Oh, there's another one. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. So any likes, any comments, any subscribes, please share it with your friends. That would be massively appreciated. Until we see you again on Sunday afternoon for the West End Imps Show, thank you everybody for watching, and up the Imps.